everyone, Kat here, your favorite ginger bibliophile. Hope you're all doing really well. And I didn't have an appropriate shirt for this one, so it was, I had one that, I don't know how well y'all can see, but it says game over on his knuckles, which is appropriate for this tag, which came out at just the right time. So I'll get around to it later, book tag, basically. Here's all the books that you should have read by now, and, have not. And this is also, some of us are doing the read what you own challenge, something that I've been attempting to do since, a couple years now, and I keep failing at. It's basically just hey, why have you not read these books yet? We're calling ourselves out on all the books that we should have read by now and haven't read. But we'll get around to it later. I was not specifically tagged on this tag, but I've seen it on so many channels and it seemed perfect. I mean, I've watched this already on Van's channel and Elaine's. Alan and Gavin have, both done this. They were all tagged by the amazing Pat, and I will list all their channels down below so you can check them out. I believe, did I say Gavin? I think I watched his earlier, and they are all freaking amazing. This tag was created by a book blogger, quote unquote, and then booktuber Jess saw it and it started going around on Booktube. So it's only 7 prompts and tag some folks. So let's get into it, shall we? And maybe little man will untuck himself and come for a visit. The first one is a classic book that you've been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. Well, I don't know that I would really say that I've been meaning to read forever, because if y'all been around for a while, then y'all know classics and me do not vibe very well. Though I have I've tried a couple that sound interesting. And I do have a bunch that are on Kindle, which is kind of perfect for the read what you own. I'm going to try to knock out the abridged version of Count of Monte Cristo. I did not know this was like 1,000-something page book, because I got it on Kindle and it's like 300 pages. I thought I had a paperback, but I don't. Oh well. But what I do have on paperback, which is perfect for a little segment that I do here of book versus movie, is Matilda, which weirdly enough will be my first ever Roald Dahl book. And I have had this for I don't even know how long. This might actually be good for a different prompt that's on here. Because, I just looked at myself and was like, I was looking for the Count of Monte Cristo, which hopefully is as good as the movie, because I was very displeased with Three Musketeers. And fun fact, I did not realize that Henry Cavill was in Count of Monte Cristo. Let's just say, he aged very well, because young Henry Cavill, nerdy, like Man of Steel, plays World of Warcraft Henry Cavill. Yeah, him I will remember. He is very climbable. But also, I love the movie Matilda, and I believe there's a Christmas scene in there, so this will be very appropriate. I'm excited. Plus, I'm totally 3 years old when I can get away with it, so a children's book that is a classic that's almost as old as I am, we gonna be giving that one a try. A book on your shelf you haven't read yet. Isn't that why we're doing this tag and have the read what you own challenge? Because I started the year with 87 books, and despite reading 52 of them so far, I still have about 80 to go. So we could pick a lot of books for this answer. But I went with one that, once again, I'm essentially, listing as my future pile of possibilities. Wicked Saints. That is supposed to be a kind of dark fairy tale retelling. I'm not sure what of, or like a blend of them, but it sounded really cool when I snatched this up probably like a year ago from my favorite used bookstore, so we're gonna call it. This is the book that, I still haven't read. The only one, I swear. A book that you recently got that you haven't read. This one I don't feel as bad about, because, it is recent, and I'm saving it for next month because when elves attack with Tim Dorsey. I mean, you can't say that's not the perfect holiday read. And currently, I only have one like holiday book, and it's a tradition that I always read The Stupidest Angel by Christopher Moore because it makes me giggle every time. So I'm hoping this will make me giggle as well, and it's super short. I should be able to knock that one out. And I just realized I essentially like half picked my December TBR already with this stack. Score! A book you've had forever but haven't read yet. Well, this kind of goes with the shirt that I'm wearing. Necroscope, The Dead Spawn by Brian Lumley. I don't remember exactly when I got this, but I picked it up when I was living in New Mexico, and I left there almost 6 years ago to the day at this point. So yeah, this book has been waiting at least 6 years for me to read it. Part of it gets lost because when we moved here, I moved for, the dream job, and then COVID laughed at me, and I'm still trying to get back into it. But the boyfriend came, and he knows I love reading, so he very nicely, unpacked all my books and made my bookshelves all nice and pretty. Had all the hardbacks on the bottom, had them, stacked by height. Some of them had to double up so that they could all fit on the 3 bookcases I had at the time. I had them boxed in alphabetical with all my TBRs in a separate box, and they all got mixed in, and it was beautiful, but it has been chaos ever since. But also, I keep holding off going, I'm gonna read this during like Halloween, because I mean, come on now. And then I go for easier, shorter reads during Halloween and forget about it the rest of the year. So yeah, maybe I'll eventually get to it. I promise when I bought that for like 50 cents from a going out of business used bookstore, I plan to read it. It has not happened yet. And then let's see here. Prompt number 5. A book a friend recommended that you haven't read. There has been a lot of those, though to be fair, I don't own most of them. I've been checking Libby, and when I have subscriptions, Kindle Unlimited, my used bookstore, because I love y'all, but sometimes your recommendations are not quite for me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds really freaking good. But there's only one booktuber on here has recommended books that Libby has had. Because my actual physical library does not have much that I would even be like, ew, get away from me. You couldn't pay me to read that. Not my genre at all. But Van has some good recommendations. None of them have been on Kindle one of them was on Kindle Unlimited. And it's his fault. He made it sound good when he did the reading, and then it was cutesy. But I did find one on Libby, and I just started reading it, so, I haven't read it yet. And that is Gideon the Ninth. I'm like 3 chapters in, and I'm loving it. But I haven't finished it yet, so it still counts for this prompt. I'm still trying to find the other ones that he's recommended, and some from, Adriana's got some really good ones over at Carbon Bonded Books. So if you're looking for mythology, that's your girl. And Matthew over at Man with the Hat Who Reads has some really good ones that, again, they friggin' need to go like on sale or wind up at my used bookstore or on Libby. Because I really want to read Lilith. That sounds freaking awesome. And the Monster Hunter International series sounds really good. And Magnificent Seven. Or, no, that's not it. That was a title that was ripped off of that. It was like the Monster 7 or something. Now I've forgotten what it is, but thankfully I have it on my Goodreads and my Amazon wish list, so if it goes on sale, I can find it. And then, let's see. This one will kind of shock some people. It's a book you're procrastinating on. A treasury of fairy tales. I know, it's me. I love my monsters and my creepiness. Hello. Halloween year round. But I also love my fairy tales, hence the Monday readings of Grimm's. And yet I have not read this. That I'm pretty sure I've had as long as some of these other books. This was another one that I found at Page One Books down in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But it's an anthology, and those freaking terrify me. So even though I want to read it, and I know it should be easy, I mean, it's children's fairy tale books. Little Mermaid is in here. But it's also, how many? Oh, there isn't any extra. Usually there's like extra pages that are, here's like an afterword or something, but it's 732 pages. That is a little terrifying. And, oh, it doesn't even tell me how many. It just lists all the various stories. But yeah, that is scary when, we've got essentially 3 pages of here's all the stories that are in here. There's Sinbad in here. 2 caskets. That sounds kind of dark. Maybe when I finish Grim Tales, I will start doing, like the original, not dark stories. If I'm allowed to, I don't know. That might get me into some copyright trouble. Because this bunch of them was put together in 2017. So at least it's, not too old. I haven't even made it 10 years yet. And it was a used bookstore, so I probably had it been read once. But, yep. Or maybe as like a counterpoint, we'll have our grim tales and then our happy tales. I don't know. We'll figure that one out. Because I didn't buy it because I didn't want to read it. But then I bought it and realized it's kind of terrifying and how huge it is. So, we gotta take it in bits and pieces. And then, here, the next book on your TBR. I got 2 for this one, because it all depends on my mood. I've got Greg Loomis, The Sinai Secret, which, archaeological thriller, might be good. After I finish, I've got about, of recording this, I have about 30 pages 30 pages left on the book that I'm reading right now. But also, it's nonfiction November. A book on demolition. Explosions make me happy. I'm not a coffee table book kind of girl. And yes, it's a little messed up. Don't judge me, Judge Noah. This was used. Because you're not exactly going to find this at any bookstore that I have access to. I think it was that I bought off Amazon, but dude, it's a tiny coffee table book. Maybe I'll bust it out in reading sprints tonight because it's got pictures, and I might be able to finish it, considering how short it is, and despite the size, because it's mostly pictures. Ooh, and it came from a library and was discarded by the library, but I think it's more picture than actual, anything else. So that's kind of cool. Maybe this one will be the next one, because, I gotta try to read it before November's over. And as of recording, it's already the 15th. So, one of those 2 will be my next read. Maybe I'll read them simultaneously. I have not decided yet. We'll just have to find out and be surprised together. And then prompt number 8 is tag some people. And I'm going to take the cheat that everybody else that I've seen do this has done pretty much. Because I have seen pretty much everyone that I would tag do this already. So, if you see this, if you made it this far and you're interested, do it! And then tag me so I can come watch. Because it's a cool tag. It's appropriately timed. And it was fun. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Maybe y'all have some ideas for, some new reads. Which one should I read next? Because y'all know I can't really decide. I mean, the question asking that has a dual answer. So, yep. Bye! Happy reading!